Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Thursday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a good show lined up, our normal routine on a Thursday. We're going to kick it off here in just a second with our good buddy Brent Beaird talking college football. Got a lot to talk about. And then the second portion of the show, we'll have our Baker Sporting Goods high school roundup, talking a little high school football, but we're going to talk high school volleyball as well as the district tournaments have kicked off. But let's get to the Titan MR hotline. We got a lot to talk to our man, Brent Beaird. You can follow him on Twitter at Brent Beaird. Good morning, Brent. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well. It's never a dull day in college football right now, so this is certainly no different than any other time, but certainly some significant things from the NCAA have gone on, and we've got some, I think, very good games to discuss today, too.
We really do. So sticking with the NCAA to kick it off, looks like everybody is eligible. It's kind of like high school football right now. All you got to do is opt in, and you make the playoffs in high school. If you just play college football, you go to a bowl game.
Yeah, that's precisely correct. Everybody can play. This year there are no win requirements to play in a bowl. Now you've got 78 teams to fill 39 bowl slots. So that is correct. Now some of you are out of the country, shall we say, bowls we're not going to have today, or when that happens, but that has been firmed up. So basically, regardless of records, and that will be amusing to see maybe a 3-7 team against a 2-8 team, but that may be what we have.
Yeah, no doubt. Also, pretty much all the winter sports, you get another year of eligibility as well.
We didn't know that this would happen, but the NCAA has officially approved giving an additional year of eligibility to the winter sports athletes. So I think that is encouraging. Basically what happened this week was the appropriate NCAA committees were ruled on several different issues. These will be passed on, basically to be rubber stamped in January, and then they will be in play a few weeks and months after that.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting next year how football teams, especially, how they're going to have to navigate their rosters. You know, because you're technically only supposed to have 85 scholarships, so I don't know how they're going to do all that. Obviously, they're going to have to increase the limit, but it's going to be a mess.
Yeah. Well, it can, and also the NCAA Council approved the proposal to allow one-time transfers in all sports without sitting out for a season. They will vote on it in January for final approval. Now, if this is approved, as we think it will be effective August 1 of next year. So that's when that will go into effect. A lot of people wish they would have had this year, but they just got caught up in the COVID situation, and unfortunately it was put on the back burner.
I wonder why they're going to wait till August 1st, because it seems like, you know, if you wait until August 1st I guess you can't transfer until August 1st because that's kind of late. That's kind of late in the year.
Yeah, it is. The reading and the ruling is that's when it will be effective. So again, how this is fleshed out in the details, we will have to wait and see. That's a really good point. So that may, Shane, that may have something to do with that would be your logical start of the fall semester or fall quarter or something, somewhere along in there, to go along with the NCAA calendar.
That's right. Okay. We're speaking with Brent Beaird here on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Brent, a lot of the Power 5 athletic leaders thinking about making a move from the NCAA, huh?
There was a survey that I give Ross Dellinger credit for this that came up. It was from the Knight Commission, surveyed some college administrators. The result of it was more than 60% of the Power 5 athletic leaders would support breaking away from the NCAA to form a fourth NCAA division, along with what they've got now. Now, what all that means, we're not real sure about that, but we've kind of heard about this for quite a while. And again, saying you want to do it and actually doing it are two different things as far as what it would take. I mean, we've heard for years about breaking away from the NCAA, and that's an easy thing to say, but you've still got to have some kind of structure, and how would you structure being able to do so? But I think it is telling, isn't it, Shane, that 60% of the people who were surveyed will be willing to break away and do something different.
Yeah. Brent, we had talked before the season started that some programs were talking about flying in the day of the game and playing the game and flying back instead of going to a hotel. And with the Gator situation, I believe Scott Strickland mentioned that, they possibly could have contacted the virus at the hotel somehow. Do you think teams will eventually get to that where they just fly in, play the game, and fly home?
I think that's a real possibility. Frankly, I know Matt Hayes, who's a writer that lives here in Jacksonville, mentioned this several months ago, that because of the concerns, it might be easier in order to do that. Now, obviously, you've got rules, conference and NCAA, that you need to be there the day before, and there's some sense to that. And how important that will be. But again, this is a different day and time. We're doing things in a unique manner, and that could be a possibility. And again, I mean, you would think the safest place in the world right now to stay would be a hotel, but that's not necessarily the truth. Not saying that's going to happen, but that very well may be certainly taken into consideration as the season progresses, and certainly maybe for next year.
When you look at the Gator situation, obviously everyone knows now the game is going to be canceled against LSU for COVID issues. It's interesting to me because having a kid on the team, I know all the protocol these kids have to go through on a daily basis. Florida did such a tremendous job from March, when kids had to leave campus, go back home, until they reported back late July. We hardly had any cases. Then I sit here and I think, man, because it was Clemson's of the world, I think LSU during the summer, the national news was 30 players at LSU, blah, blah, blah. Well, come to think of it, that's probably what you should have done in the summertime now. We still don't know if you can get the virus twice, but it just seems like those teams that had issues in the summer aren't having issues now.
Well, that's a good point. And look, the thing we don't know, and I had a beat writer that mentioned to me that, and he was talking about an SEC team, and said that he believes that it may be as many as 70 players on the team had the virus in the preseason, which is why, to your point, that they're not really going through that right now, as some will. But I mean, your point's good because, look, these schools have been very diligent, as you know, and Florida is too, in what they've been able to do in taking care of the players and testing them, and I think doing everything they can. But again, it's that old thing that and Nick Saban said this on his press conference last night, is when you travel, that's when you open yourself up, because you're getting out of your bubble, and there has to be even more caution and precaution when you're able to leave your city and go somewhere else.
Yeah. Refresh your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. October is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with Brent Beaird here on the Titan MR Hotline. All right, Brent, let's get to the big game of the year. Alabama, Georgia. We all know about Nick Saban now testing positive for COVID. I'm sure everybody wants to know. Saban's going to try to figure out somehow to coach, whether he's hovering over in a helicopter, Bryant Denny, whatever it may be. Let us know what the rules and regulations are being able to coach while you are tested positive with COVID.
Yeah, and think back to Mike Norvell at Florida State when he tested positive and had to quarantine. He missed the team's game, and this is important too. He was not able to have contact with the staff in the 90-minute period before the game and then during the game. So that would be your situation with Nick Saban too, is if he's quarantined in his house, he may have 15 computers, but yet he would still not be able to talk to the team at halftime or make adjustments either during that time. That's just what you got with the NCAA, and it is NCAA Rule 1-4-11 that prohibits the use of technology inducing computers to be used for coaching purposes, and this would include all virtual types of communication back to a team during the game. So yes, there is actually an NCAA rule that would prohibit that. Now, look, here's the other thing with Saban. He will be tested today, tomorrow, and even the day of the game, and if he tests negative at that point, he would probably be allowed to come back and coach the team. Alabama, like a lot of SEC schools, virtually has a hospital on campus with all their state-of-the-art buildings and their technology and so forth. So keep that in mind with him. But before we're looking at the game, and again, Steve Sarkisian is going to be in charge, but Saban will also be in charge of practice and with the coaches today, and they will go through their normal Thursday, which I'm sure has probably already been started for an hour or two.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So sticking with the game, which is going to be a phenomenal game, Alabama is just – Alabama probably, them and Clemson have the most complete offense in the country going against the Georgia defense. What are you looking for in this game, Brent?
Well, it's the number one offense in the league against the number one defense in the league. I mean, obviously, Georgia's got guys who are emerging, along with Zamir White, Kenny McIntosh, and Kendall Milton, and the running backs, Kyrus Jackson and Fred Pickens. Interesting that Fred Pickens, as good as he is, does not have 100 yards total in receiving yet. I think that will change very soon. Georgia's already got 10 sacks in 3 games. Last year they had 31 and 14, so they're able to get to the passer a little bit quicker. Stetson Bennett, 0 turnovers, 63% passer. So far he's done amazingly well, but then Mac Jones is your number one quarterback in terms of pass efficiency, but we know all the particulars as far as Najee Harris and Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle. So, I mean, it's a fascinating test of strength when you're actually able to look at it. I mean, Georgia hadn't faced an offense like this. Bama hadn't faced a defense like this. So you can see why these are two of the top 3 teams in the nation. And, Shane, as some people pointed out, this may be the first of not 2 but 3 times these teams play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to watch it. We got some other interesting games in the SEC this week. Tennessee coming off their loss. They're going to host a Kentucky team that finally won a game. I think this is a very intriguing game.
It is. There's no question. Now, Tennessee has won 33 of 35 in this series. That's amazing. They won 17 straight against Kentucky and Neyland. So, tells you how badly Kentucky wants to win this game. Garantano is getting better. He is having a good senior season. Tennessee defense struggling a bit, allowing 30 points per game, but which defense is not struggling at this point? Kentucky had an amazing 6 interceptions versus Mississippi State. Terry Wilson still is rounding back into shape. Their defense, frankly, is really very good. And deserves a lot of credit. Josh Paschal, their defensive end, has been outstanding. So, frankly, Shane, this is one of the bigger games in the league this weekend.
It really is. Also, another game that I can't wait to watch because I am just not impressed at all with the Auburn Tigers. I don't think Bo Nix is the answer. I think Gus is going to go down with him as his quarterback. I think South Carolina beats Auburn this week.
Well, they very well might. Auburn really struggling, although against South Carolina, Auburn's 10-1-1. Auburn's 11th in scoring, 21 points a game. Bo Nix averaging 199 yards passing a game. They have found a really good running back in Tank Bigsby. I'm curious if you've seen much of him.
Yeah,
but KJ Brett, the linebacker, out. That's hurt them too. You don't know about South Carolina really, but their offense is getting a bit better. Colin Hill, I think, has been fairly impressive. Only 4 turnovers in 3 games. They lead the league in time of possession, 34 minutes per game. Mike Bobo, frankly, has got this team number 6 in the league in rushing. But here's the thing with Malzahn. Malzahn has a $21 million buyout. And even as much money as Auburn has, they're not going to spend that much money right now. So he will be safe this year regardless of what they do.
Yeah. Ole Miss is going to be playing the Hogs, which the Hogs actually should have won that game against Arkansas. They got screwed. Ole Miss supposedly has some COVID issues. This game is still scheduled to be played, right?
Yes, it is. And what you said is correct. Lane Kiffin said yesterday they do have COVID issues. We don't know what that means yet. We probably will today. But Ole Miss was incredibly effective against Alabama. Matt Corral has been very impressive. He has fit in well with the system there. They're running the ball well. With Connor, for instance, in Ely, their defense is one of the worst defenses we probably ever seen in the SEC, yeah. Frankly. But this Arkansas team is really good. Felipe Franks, 22 of 30. He's been impressive. Their defense, I think, under Barry Odom, continues to play well. And listen, they almost beat Auburn without Rakeem Boyd, who didn't make the trip. So if they get him back, they could be very good. And Shane, would you surprise you by the end of the year if Arkansas really upset somebody in the upper echelon of the SEC?
No, they're playing great defense, as you mentioned, and I think Kendall Briles, his style of play, it's from the same, that his dad's offense, what they do at UCF, so they can. And Felipe's playing well, so I like watching them. I think they're a scrappy team. A&M coming off their big win, probably the big signature win for Jimbo. They play Mississippi State, who is struggling. They're going to see eight guys dropping into coverage, but Mississippi State's playing really good defense.
That's the thing that's a little bit unusual. They lead the SEC in sacks at this point, but the offense is struggling. KJ Costello was benched for Will Rogers. Colin Hill's got to get more involved in the offense. He only had 7 carries. As we mentioned, they threw 6 interceptions. They're last in the league in rushing at Mississippi State, so that's got to get better. But A&M, certainly their signature win so far with Jimbo Fisher. Isaiah Spiller really ran hard in that game. Caleb Chapman, who had 9 catches, is out for the year. He was hurt, so that really hurts them. But Kellen Mond did play well, certainly in the game, 25 of 35. So we will see if A&M can build on that success.
Yep. Well, Brent, time flies when you're having fun, man. We've already run out of time because we got a big lineup of high school coaches today. Appreciate your time. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next week.
And Shane, well, we look forward to it. And again, in our state, Pitt at Miami, FSU at North Carolina, who's number 5, regardless of Florida, is not playing, still in the state. A lot of big games.
No doubt about it. Brent, have a good weekend, my man.
You too, pal. Take care.
That's Brent Beaird. You can follow him on Twitter, and he has great stuff at Brent Beaird. At Center State Bank, we put business first. We are the largest community bank in the state of Florida and understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. Center State has 5 convenient Alachua County locations to serve you better. Center State Bank, member FDIC. You're going to take a time out here. When we come back, we're going to kick off our Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup.
This is Shane Matthews. Thank you for listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning. You can also check me out on Inside the Huddle with Steve Russell and the head ball coach Steve Spurrier. Tune in every Tuesday during football season on WRUF 98.1 FM, 8:50 a.m. at 10 o'clock in the morning, or find us on your favorite podcast platform. We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Area Rug Masters, your number one choice in Gainesville for all your rug cleaning services. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Celebration Point Town Center. Center State Bank. Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, The Digital Mortgage Guy, Adams Ribs, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Rap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Radware, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TD Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Dar Shakow Insurance. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators come to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Tommy Hilfiger, Hotel Indigo, Nike, Medici's, Regal Cinemas. And coming spring of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visor's Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point where the Gators come to celebrate. Now it's time for our Thursday edition of the Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup, and we're going to go to a guy who's doing a lot of celebrating these days, the head football coach at Oak Hall, RJ Fuhrer. Coach, how are you?
Great, Shane. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Coach, you sit undefeated right now. You guys, we talked to you a couple of weeks ago. Y'all had to drop down to play 8-man football, but I'll be dang, y'all are tearing it up in 8-man football.
Yes, sir. The kids are really doing well. They're buying into, not only buying into our new system, but buying into playing 8-man this year. 5-0, we play All Saints on Friday, and they're going to be our toughest test. They have 12 seniors. They have a kid 6'6", 305, their right tackle. Yeah, they've got a linebacker 6'3", 230. They dropped down too. They were an 11-man well, they've been an 11-man, this is their first year in 8-man as well. They have 25 guys on the roster, 12 of which are seniors. So where conversely we have 3 seniors and 1 junior. And I'm starting 3 8th graders right now, which is great for the future, but there's a big difference between an 8th grader and a senior. I mean, they look like grown men, but yeah, it's going well.
Where's All Saints located?
In Winter Haven.
Okay. They coming to your place?
No, we're going there. But kind of a cool thing for our kids, they've got a turf field. They've got a Jumbotron scoreboard. So they've got really great facilities, and it'll be good. It'll be kind of I think a good test for the playoffs.
So, Coach, as we talked about, you went to 8-man football. It was probably a learning lesson for you and your staff trying to figure out how the heck we're going to play 8-man football. Talk a little bit about your offense so far through 5 games, how they've performed, and some of your kids that have stood out.
Yeah, going into the season, we revamped everything, went to the single wing spin series, and we had about 3 weeks to install it, with no spring ball, no real summer workouts. But Andrew Pickens, we moved him from receiver to quarterback, and he has just led this team. Very smart kid, 3-sport athlete. I did write some stats down here. I'm not a big stats guy, but I got to brag on our offense a little bit. And Richard Ruth, our offensive coordinator, is doing a great job. But so through 5 games, we have 1,705 yards rushing and 30 touchdowns.
Wow.
So we're definitely old school, ground and pound. But Carter Coleman is a junior. He's got 568 yards and 12 touchdowns. So he's averaging 11.59 yards per carry. Jalen Scott, he's a great athlete. His dad actually is Larry Scott, that was the tight ends coach.
Yeah. Yep.
And unfortunately, Jalen will be moving because Coach Scott got the job at Howard, the head job. So we're going to be losing Jalen. He's only a sophomore, but he has 478 yards rushing with 7 touchdowns. And then Andrew Pickens has 404 yards with 6 touchdowns. So, we're doing well. As a defensive guy, I like it because a lot of ball control, but the kids are just doing great. Our offensive line is doing well. And, it's the single wing, I knew nothing about it, to be honest with you. And Rick Darlington, actually, I reached out to him, and, he won 3 state championships at Apopka, and he's at Enterprise High School in Dothan. He's been great. All summer, he helped me out, sent me film. We got to install that this summer. So, yeah, it's been good for us. And Coach Rawls, our defense coordinator, we're not able to do as much as we'd like. He and I like multiple fronts, multiple blitz packages, multiple coverages, but in 8-man, it's just hard to do that. So, we're not vanilla, but it's tough.
And you, last time we had you on here, I think you play with 3 offensive linemen, correct?
Most teams play with 3. We still play with 5 just because we're with the single wing.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So, but a couple of those linemen are eligible to go out for a pass. Yeah, so that's got to be, now that I'm picturing it, you're playing the single wing. So you're in a little phone booth, and a couple of those dang linemen can go out for passes.
Yeah.
Sneak them out on some corner routes or some drags or something.
We even run what we call a tight end reverse. So our left tackle, Dylan Provencher, he's been our left tackle since 8th grade. He's tickled with this offense. He went from number 79 to number 89, and he has a couple touchdown catches. He runs the football. So it's really cool because it's an old school offense, but we can do some crazy stuff. I mean, we can run a double reverse pass. It looks like we're drawing stuff up in the dirt, but we actually, we have these plays as part of our script. So it's pretty cool.
So looking at your opponent, you being a defensive guy, how's your defense played so far this year in your 5 games?
We're trending upward. We started off first game, we gave up 12 points. We've had 2 shutouts actually we did give up a touchdown last week, but we're doing really well. We're a young group, so a lot of it is just fundamentals, getting them to tackle better and just getting them, a lot of these guys have never played varsity football yet. And, I think the misnomer is just because it's 8-man, I think I may have said this to you before, we're still in Florida, right? So we're still playing good football teams, good football players. The quarterback last week from Academy at the Academy at the Lakes, which is in Land O'Lakes, their kid hadn't lost a game since the 8th grade. They were in a different 8-man division, and they won 2 state championships. This kid's like 6'2", 205, can run, can throw, and we threw a little bit of zone at him, and that kind of messed him up. But we're playing some good football teams, and so our defense has been doing really well. We mix up some fronts still. We mix up coverage a little bit. Just can't get as exotic as we'd like, but I'm very pleased with our defense, and we'll be tested this week big time.
Do you have all your kids playing both ways?
Most of them that are just playing offensive line, but other than that, most of them are all, kind of the Iron Man both ways. We dressed 15 last week, which isn't bad for 8-man, but it's still tough. It's still tough. Our kids they're in good shape. I mean, they have to be because they're playing a lot. Jake Gill, our senior, he hasn't played yet. He got hurt in camp, and that's really hurting us in terms of he's one of our best offensive and defensive players, but it hurts us on a depth standpoint. But, most guys are going both ways.
So, Coach, a lot of the teams that are playing, I don't want to call it regular football, but 11-man football, they know who their playoff opponents are going to be because they was drawn out of a hat or what have you. For the 8-man playoff system, how's that working? Is it kind of the same way?
No, it's a little bit more. It's based on division winners and then 3 at large. So there's 15 teams in our league. The 5 division winners and then the 3 at large make what they call the AA bracket. And then the rest of the teams go to a lower bracket. So it's kind of nice because all teams get to be in the postseason playoff bracket. So last Friday, we beat Academy at the Lakes. So we won the North Division. So we had beaten Duval Charter and Academy of the Lakes. So we won our North Division. All Saints Academy won their division. So really the winner of Friday night will decide the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Gotcha. And it'll be, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7 that way. The division winners will be the top 5 seeds, and then the 3 at large will be 6, 7, and 8. So we kind of have an idea how this is going to shake out. We have this game, and then next Friday we play Shorecrest at home, but if nothing crazy happens, we should be the 1 or 2 seed.
Good stuff. Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Good luck to the Eagles tonight. We'll talk to you when it gets closer to the playoffs, but we really do appreciate your time.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks for all you do for high school sports. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. We're going to head west now and talk to Newberry Panther coach Edward Johnson.
Thank you for joining the Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup.
We're now joined by Coach Edward Johnson from the Newberry Panthers. Coach, man, you're having a heck of a year after that first game, right?
Yes, sir. We're starting to figure things out here in Newberry, and we're playing tough, and it's fun.
But the great thing about your team, I mean, gosh, y'all gone through, it seems like adversity at the beginning of most games. And I don't know if it's your halftime speech or what you're saying to these kids, but, man, they come out in the second half and you have these great comebacks.
Well, we always preach playing 48 minutes. That's the biggest thing we talk about. So, the starts haven't been what we've been wanting, but we found a way to figure it out in the end.
So, Coach, who do you got tomorrow night?
Dixie County.
Okay. They got a pretty good squad. I want to say they run the option or the wing tee or something along those lines.
Yeah, they're a wing tee team.
Which is a hard thing to stop these days. Your guys prepared to do it?
We're getting there. Hopefully we'll have all the hay in the barn by Friday night. Got to play assignment football. You can't get out of your gaps in your lanes, and you got to tackle.
So you look back at the games that you played, Coach. You only have 1 loss, and that was the first game of the year against Hawthorne. How much has let's start with offense. How much has your offense improved week in and week out?
It starts up front. I think our offensive line has made a big improvement from game 1. And when you can block and protect up front, you kind of open up things and allow your athletes to make plays. So we're excited about where we're heading. We're just going to keep working and trying to get better. So how's that quarterback playing for you? Playing a lot better the last couple of weeks. I think he had 4 touchdowns last week. He's reading the defense a little better, making the right choices in the passing game, and he's using his legs a little bit, which creates the dilemma for defense.
When you look at your defense, what stood out early in the season?
Just flying to the ball. I think that's what we preach. 11 hats to the ball. How close are you to the ball when the whistle blows? Our kids are playing hard. So, as long as we can keep locking in and especially Friday night, doing your job and tackling, we should be fine.
How many kids? Do you have kids go both ways, Coach?
Not many. Not many. We're blessed enough. We kind of two platoon. So we have, Leontre Robinson is our defensive end, but he hops in at our H-back. And then our middle linebacker, Lavelle Thomas, he plays a little running back for us.
When you look at the Dixie County game, for the Panthers to come out victorious once again, what needs to happen?
Take care of the ball on offense, keep protecting up front. And then defense, we talk about you gotta do your job with that wing T. If you're supposed to tackle the dive, you gotta tackle the dive. And you got quarterback, you gotta get the quarterback. And you gotta do that consistently all night.
Coach, I do another podcast with Coach Spurrier here locally, and he's one of those guys that reads the paper every day. And he read some of your quotes in the Gainesville Sun about how you set the pass up by running the football. He loved that quote. Is that kind of your philosophy?
It is. And our running back is a pretty good running back. So we try to get him the ball as much as possible. And, you kind of get 8-9 guys in the box, and you can kind of open up things in your passing game with your one-on-one matchups on the outside. So it's definitely something that we try to do consistently.
When the playoffs have already been set, what name came out of the hat for the Newberry Panthers to play?
Trenton Tigers.
Oh, boy, just right down the road. You've already beaten them once. Good gracious. Are you pleased with that matchup, or do you wish it would have been somebody else?
Trenton's a tough team. We know they're going to come in and play hard. We have no control over who we got matched up with, so, we'll just take it as it comes, and we'll try to be ready when that game comes around.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck to the Panthers against Dixie County. We appreciate you taking the time to join us, and we'll talk to you when it gets a little bit closer to the playoffs.
I appreciate it, Shane. Thank you so much.
Yep, that's Coach Ed Johnson from the Newberry Panthers.
Thank you for joining Baker's Sporting Goods High School Roundup here on Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning.
Now we're going to head up to Ocala, or down to Ocala, I should say, for the Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup, and we're joined by the head football coach, John Brantley. Good morning, John. How are you?
Dane, how we doing today, my man?
We're doing well, man. It's you had a heartbreaker. Well, you lost to Bowles, which is a very good football team. Tell me how that game went.
Well, the biggest thing we had not going for us was that we went up to Bowles and our quarterback was in quarantine. So had 3 starters out on defense and had my starting quarterback in quarantine. It's hard to go play the number one team in the state with those cards. So, our kids played hard. I'm going to have to tell you, we ain't going to make no excuses at Trinity. As their coach told us at Bowles, if it would have been 90% of their opponents, they'd have probably pulled the COVID card and probably canceled the game. But that's not what we're about here at Trinity. So we went up there and started a freshman quarterback. He managed the game fairly well, but very limited on what you can do with a young man like that. And so it kind of made us one-dimensional and made it a little bit easier for a well-coached team like Bowles.
Yeah, no doubt. So this week, it doesn't get much easier. I believe you're hosting an 8A school out of Jacksonville, Sandalwood. How do they look on tape?
Well, the Saints, they're a pretty good football team. Coach Geis up there has got a good program, 8A school, like I said. But, they've got an outstanding linebacker who just decommitted from Florida State, I think, yesterday. Got a 3-star quarterback who runs around real well and throws the ball. So we got our work cut out for us, but we get them down here in Ocala, and hopefully that travel will get them a little bit tired or something to where we can go out and make it happen. But hope to have everybody back this week because I've yet to have our entire football team on the field at the same time. And I don't know if that's going to happen. Hopefully when we start the playoffs, we'll have everybody back together.
Speaking of the playoffs, what team do they draw out of the hat to play the Celtics first round?
Well, we got Melbourne Central Catholic. We're in a good region, and the way it's set up, if we're able to take care of the business as we can, 3 out of the 4 games will be at home in Ocala. So we got Melbourne Central Catholic coming to our place on the 13th of November. and then we play it out from there. So, we got a tough schedule, Shane, and that was set up intentionally to get our kids ready, get them focused, challenge them. I think the 3 teams we got left on our schedule, Sandalwood, Victory Christian, Calvary, I think they've got 1 loss between the 3 teams. So we got to work ahead of us. But, when we hit the playoffs, we got a bye week the first week in November to get ready. And hopefully the kids will be up for the challenge and the plan will work.
So what is the date of the first round playoff games?
Well, you got some play-in games on the 6th of November, and then the true first round, the full first round of playoffs is November 13th.
Okay, gotcha. Well, Coach, appreciate you joining us. Hopefully you get all your players back this week. It's not going to be easy against Sandalwood, but obviously that will get you ready for the playoffs. We will touch base in a couple of weeks, see how the Celtics are doing. In the meantime, y'all stay safe down there in Ocala, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Shane. Appreciate what y'all do for high school football.
Absolutely. That's Coach John Brantley. Join us on the Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup.
High School Roundup Thursdays brought to you by Baker Sporting Goods.
Welcome back to the Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup. We're now going to switch from football to high school volleyball. They kick off the playoffs, started Tuesday, and resume tonight on this Thursday edition. Now we're joined by Gainesville High Volleyball head coach, Chancey Weiss. Good morning, Chancey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Chancey, I want to say your overall record's around 12-6, something like that. How has the season gone so far?
It's been going well. COVID has definitely changed things up. Normally we have like a 25-game season, but it shortened it a little bit. We got to add a quick tournament there in the middle of the season, which was a humbling experience for us. But overall, it's been great. The girls have taken it with height, and we've had to overcome some adversity here and there, but they've been doing well.
So when you look at your season so far, tell us some of the standouts that you've had on your volleyball team.
Like specific players or plays?
I would say players.
Players. Well, the future of GHS looks great. We have a lot of incoming freshmen this year that are extremely talented. We just have to hone in on that talent specifically. Brooklyn Teeler. She is my outside, very, very good. She's about 6 foot tall, huge vertical. It's 10-foot line almost every time. I have another freshman, Demetria Davis. She's just an all-around athlete. You can't ask for more. She can play any position you put her at, and she'll get the job done. We have a few other freshmen that are very good and are going to be great by the time that they reach their upperclassmen area. And then I have some sophomores too. Jasmine Burbust, she was great last year, and she's definitely taking the competition this year in height, and it's pushing her even harder. So we have a lot of young talent, and then we have experienced seniors that are helping guide that talent. But the future of GHS looks very good.
So tonight you play in the championship game of the district tournament or what have you. You're playing the Forest Wildcats, who I believe are undefeated on the year. What do the Gainesville Lady Hurricanes have to do to win tonight?
Well, you can see my game plan in the background, so hopefully Forest doesn't watch it too early. But so Forest, yes, they are undefeated still. They're 13-0 after winning on Tuesday. They actually have won 3-0 sweeps up until they played Buchholz, and Buchholz took a set from them. They actually got to face a good competition on Tuesday night. So the thing I noticed most about Forest is they have a lot of heart on their team. They don't have a lot of height, but they have a lot of athletes, great verticals, and a whole lot of heart. They don't give up on any single play. Those girls were literally running through walls trying to get to every single ball. For us to beat them, and without giving away our game plan, is to out-hustle them 100% and to find their very few weak spots that they don't pick up and try to exploit them. Also, I had a meeting with my girls after the game on Tuesday because they stayed and scouted, is that we have to worry about playing our game and adjusting to defend them, not changing our game to match theirs. For example, Forest runs a lot of quick sets to the outside. We don't do that. That's just not, we have more height and more vertical that can jump over blocks. So we don't have to run those quick sets to the outside. Forest does. So a lot of our girls were like, oh, we need to run shoots to the outside, coach. We need to change this. We need to change that. While instead I need to remind them that, we need to play our game and defend theirs rather than trying to match our game to theirs. We don't want to do what we can't do. We have, the things that work for us, and we need to heighten our skills, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So we have football coaches. This is the first week we've had volleyball coaches on. Y'all's playoff structure, is it the same as football where they just draw names out of the hat? Now, your tournament that you're playing right now, is that district or has it already started the playoffs?
No, this is district. So they did draw it out of a hat. They changed our district because the teams in our normal district was going to be us, Buholtz, Forest, and then Mainland, New Smyrna Beach, and South Lake. Well, Mainland, New Smyrna Beach, and South Lake were now moved to their own district, and then us, Forest, and Buholtz were our small district. They did a random name out of the hat draw. We were lucky enough to get first, and so we got the bye. For volleyball, the first top two teams in the district playoffs will get first round in regionals. So win or lose, we get to go to regional playoffs. So if we win, we'll stay here, and we will see the number 2 team out of, I believe it's Mainland and New Smyrna now. If we lose, we will go down there and play the number 1 seed for the first round.
So basically, Buholtz, they're done for the year?
Yep, Buholtz season.
That's unbelievable because they have a great program over there, and the way that things got restructured, they kind of got the wrong end of the stick, so to speak. But Chancey, we appreciate you taking time to talk about the Lady Hurricane volleyball team. We will follow you during the playoffs. Good luck to y'all against Forest, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Chancey Weiss from Gainesville High talking Gainesville volleyball.
Thank you for joining the Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup.
Now we're going to be joined by Newberry volleyball head coach Hank Roan here on the Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup. Good morning, Hank. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Hank, also a former punter back in the late 80s for the Gators, now coaching up some high school volleyball. Hank, you got a pretty good program, good little team this year out of Newberry, a team that went to the Final Four last year. Talk a little bit about how the season has gone.
Yeah, we actually played in the state championship last year, and we have a lot of returners. We only lost 2 from last year, so the first part of the schedule this year, we gave them some good teams. We played Buholtz, GHS, went to Bartram Trail, a 7A school that's had a really good tradition in volleyball over the years, and took them to 5 and beat them for really a good signature win. And we got to see Sneeds, who's been the 7-time defending champ, went over to Jacksonville, and we beat them 2-0 over there, and we were down a few players, so that was a good win. So they've been challenged, and now we're in the playoffs. And last night was huge because last night you got to win or you're done. So we punched our ticket in last night. Now we're going for our 5th in a row district championship on Thursday night.
Talk a little bit about some. I think you're loaded with seniors, if I'm not mistaken. Talk about some of the girls on your team and the future of Panther volleyball.
Well, I got four seniors that are 4-year letter winners. Grace Ulrich, who has a pretty good family tradition of athletes. Her brother plays at UF right now as a senior. Her sister is at Brown University playing volleyball, and she's actually going to row in college, but this is her last hurrah, and she's been with me 4 years. And Katie Oxer has been there for 4 years. She's done a tremendous job. And then 2 years ago, we got a transfer in Paige Dingus, who's just unbelievable. I mean, she can jump, approach jump about 10-1. She can touch the rim in the jump, and she's 6'1", and she's been playing really, really well. Then Nicole Everson is another one that's my lefty that runs a little middle for me and hits the right side. And then the future's pretty bright too, because we got a young freshman. Some of you guys might have heard of old Cooper Carlisle out there, but his daughter is, she's going through the freshman growing pains right now. But she's surrounded by some great talent that she has to do battle with every day in practice, and she's getting there. And we're definitely going to have to rely on her through the playoffs. But the future is still pretty good. We'll have 7 coming back next year, and our libero was a second-team All-State as a sophomore, and she'll be a senior next year. So the future's bright, but this is a special bunch, man. When you have 8 seniors and 6 of them are really, really solid players, we hope to, finish the mission this year.
So, Hank, when you look at the playoffs, I think you play Trenton tonight for the district championship. I would say you're probably going to win that game. I know coaches don't want to look ahead, but who are some people, once you get into the playoffs that can give y'all some problems?
Well, Trenton's improved. I saw him play last night, and that coach has done a great job that he has, and he has him hitting the ball down the line. So we're going to have to work on a rotational defense tonight at practice. And then, the district we play, we'll end up playing Trenton again. So we'll see Trenton in 2 weeks, because the side that we get is Hawthorne, Fort Meade, Crescent City, and they don't play the volleyball that we play up here. So we'll have to see Trenton one more time, and then it'll more than likely be Bell. And Bell will bring 2 big outsides. Both of them are 6'1", and they swing hard, and they're going to swing and swing and swing at you. And you got to be ready to block, and you got to pick up any off blocks and just dig it up and go from there. And we played them. We beat 3-1, but the other sets were 20-22 and could win either way. So I feel like after tomorrow night, then we'll be seeing Trenton again, and then Bell. The winner of Bell really has a good shot of beating.
All right, Hank, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here on the Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup, trying to give volleyball a little love here. We will follow y'all during the playoffs, get you on when it's a little bit closer. Hopefully y'all make it back to the Final Four and play for a state title. Good luck the rest of the year, my man.
Hey, Gator Nation, this is your former head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. Check out our show, Inside the Huddle with Shane Matthews and Steve Russell, every Tuesday during football season on 8:50 a.m. and 98.1 FM WRUF at 10 o'clock a.m.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility.
Area Rug Masters, your #1 choice in Gainesville for all your rug cleaning services.
Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte.
Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Dar Shakow Insurance, Pomodoro Cafe,
Big Mills Cheesesteaks,
MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Aver and Smith Personal Injury Attorneys, Orange Theory Fitness, PRP Regeneration Specialist, and Dowling Signs.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning. I want to thank all the high school coaches for joining us on the Baker Sporting Goods High School Roundup. This Day in Sports is brought to you by Area Rug Masters, Gainesville's most trusted area rug cleaners. With free pickup and delivery, Area Rug Masters is the convenient way to keep the focal point of your room looking brand new. Call Area Rug Masters, 352-448-5999. This Day in Sports in 1979, the New York Knickerbockers retired number 10, Walt Frazier's jersey number. That's brought to you by Area Rug Masters. Don't forget, tomorrow we're not going to have Josh Booty former LSU quarterback since the game has been canceled. We're going to replace him with Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. Gators started college basketball practice yesterday. We will see what he thinks of this team and how day one went with practice. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Also, we're going to have the JC and QB Peachland Dentistry weekend picks, so you'll want to tune in for that. But that's pretty much today's show is a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe out there, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.